work. So hopefully we won't fill up too much today. All right, so I guess we'll make sure you guys can see me. Yeah, okay, good. We're gonna do some updates. So tomorrow there will not be a live class recording because I volunteered my time at the school for a project Miss Markham is working on. And I'm sure that you guys will hear about what we're gonna do tomorrow, and I'm gonna leave it at that, so it's a surprise. And but I will not be home. I'll be working with Mr. Cunningham and going around doing some things for Miss Markham's project. What else is new? Yeah, I'm still working on getting the grades in. I'm going to work on that tonight and everything else I've got to do. Again, I wouldn't worry too much about grades. You know, they are what they are. The NTI work cannot hurt your main grade. So whatever you were at when we left is probably where you're going to end up, if not a whole lot better. If you're doing these live class sessions and you're tuning in and you're doing the discussion board posts, that's just going to further help your grade. So that's the update on grades. Like I said, we have a surprise going from Miss Markham. Oh, Miss Vaughn is trying to do yearbook and put some stuff together for that part that we're missing out on. So if you want to do like a video, or if you have friends and you guys are seeing, I don't know, I know you're supposed to be social distancing, but if you are, a couple of you are together and you want to, sorry, someone's wanting in, and you guys want to do a video, that'd be great. Or if you wanted to send Miss Vaughn some pictures of, maybe you have pictures from school or the dance or one of the events at the school, send those pictures to Miss Vaughn. She's trying to get that set up for the yearbook, and that'll be real helpful. Trying to think of what else has been going on. I think that's roughly about it. So if you have questions, go ahead and type them in the chat, and we're gonna get started. So, okay, right here, this is a really good looking full tomato plant. And this was in the vine system that's on the other side of the basement. And you can see that the roots are really white. And you can see that there are these little tiny roots that shoot off of the main roots. Those are air roots, and that's a really healthy plant. This plant couldn't be doing any better than what it is. Now, you can see, I talked about this in the classroom a little bit. You can see that it has a net pot. And if I remove the net pot, what's going to happen is I'm going to lose a lot of this root structure. So because the net pot is already engulfed and there's nothing really I can do about it, when I transplant these to dirt, I'm going to go ahead and leave the net pot on. And the hydroton, or these clay pellets that are in here, are going to kind of help keep the roots and the very base of the plant moist. They'll grab the moisture, and that's the little clay pellets. So you guys might have been playing with them in the classroom a little bit because they're rolling around. So when we plant these in dirt, we want to make sure we get a pot that's big enough. And honestly, this is already starting to get too small, but it's all I have. If I order more, because of the pandemic, it seems like the shipping is taking like 3-4 weeks to get normal stuff. So that's kind of presented a major problem for getting my business going and doing all of that. I wish they had a taller chair here. We're going to go ahead and plant this guy, and you want to have a good amount of dirt in. Let's see that. Oops, dirt in your. Oh, I got another thing here. In your pot. But sometimes you have to dump some out, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dump a little dirt out here, just so I can kind of have enough room to get that root system down into the potting mix. And so I'm kind of creating a big hole here, and I'm all the way down to the bottom, and I just kind of concave it out with my hand. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm going to put the whole thing in there and then cover it back up with dirt. So we're ready to kind of stick this guy into place. Let's get that dirt pulled over there. And I'll talk more about the tomato plant problem here in a second, but we want to get that root structure down as far as we can into that dirt, kind of move it around so you're covering the base. Now what we'll do is we'll put the rest of this dirt back in and hopefully get it all evened up and around. Now, when we actually put water in this, it's going to strengthen the dirt and it's going to hold the plant up better. And I'm kind of just moving it up and down here just to kind of pack that dirt in. And what we might end up doing later on is putting a little stake in to help support the plant. And then, you know, with tomato plants, as you get bigger and bigger, they have the cages. I know you can't see me here. They have the cages. They have the cages that go over the plant to help support it. So we'll do that. But this one right now, that one's pretty much ready to go. And I'll go ahead and water that later. I mean, you guys get the gist of watering. But another problem I'm having is maybe I can go a little mobile here, so bear with me. So I can show you guys some stuff. My microphone's changed. All right, so the other issue I have is I originally planted, there are roughly 60 tomato plants, and these are the big, they're all different varieties. I can't remember what's what. I think you can see those. But they are really clogging up the system now. And I do not have 60 pots, so I'm probably going to pot as many as I can. Then the rest, I guess, throw out in the yard. And then I've got a whole bunch of basil plants. And the basil is getting yellow because there's so much root structure in the hydroponic system, I can't keep up with the nutrients. So there's about 6 basil plants there. If you're wondering what basil is, it's right here, and it smells really pretty. But then I have a whole row, and you can see how big some of those basil plants are. We're going to get rid of some of them great big ones. That's what our goal is today. So basil is a great to use for cooking, and it's got that real strong smell. If you touch the leaves, you can smell it on your hands. I don't know if I'm losing people here. And we'll plug the mic back in. So I'm going to go grab a big basil plant now, a great big one, and we're going to go ahead and plant that guy in one of these big planters. So let's see here. All right. And if you're wondering what I'm doing over here, I can kind of move it. I got a great big thing of potting mix here, which is where we're getting the dirt from. So let's see here. Okay, all right. So we're gonna get as much dirt as we can before we have to scoop it. If you're wondering what kind of dirt this is, it is Miracle Grow. Now you got more people coming in here. It is Miracle Grow potting mix, which is really good. It's got a lot of nutrients in the soil. Hang on a sec, guys. All right, so this is the basil plant I was talking about. This is absolutely huge in the hydroponic system. I mean, look at these leaves. It has an extremely strong smell of basil, and you can see the root system here. It has a little bit of algae in it, but nothing bad, but that's a really healthy basil plant. Now, basil will get to be about, 3 foot tall and really big around. So we're going to put this guy in this pot and hope that we can get him to transfer and grow. And so I'm getting him down into where I want the roots, and I'm going to take and add some more dirt to it and do the same thing that I did with the other plant. And you know, maybe if some of you guys are interested, maybe if it's okay with Dr. Kirby and you want a plant, maybe I can drop off a plant to some of you that do the live class sessions and are seemingly really interested in this. So that's not out of the question just type in the chat if you're interested in that, and I'll see what I can do, and I'll ask about it at my 2 o'clock meeting today. So we're getting this potted here, and looks like we got about enough dirt in there. All right, so we're gonna grab, when you grab, some of these plants are delicate, you wanna grab the actual stem and then do the up and down motion to help pack the dirt and the roots where they need to be. And when you add water, it's gonna make the soil a lot stronger and it's gonna hold that plant up. So there we go. We successfully potted that great big basil plant, as you can see there. And that's already really good size. I mean, you can, and the neat thing about basil is, I'm not sure if I can show this, but you'll have a root and it goes like this. Okay, there'll be 2 stems coming off here and 1 going up. If you cut this stem, that is called a sucker. Usually, maybe I can show you guys here. This is a pretty big plant. So we move the leaves here. You can kind of see maybe how the root structure is in there. It's hard to see. And if you clip those, that's how you prune the plant. And those cuttings, if you put them in water, will grow roots and it'll clone. It'll do an exact copy of this plant. Kind of interesting. So that, and when you prune it, it causes the plant to not flower, which you don't want because it'll make the basil bitter, bitter tasting. So when you prune it like that, it prevents it from flowering. Oh, nice, mosquito. And it will cause the plant to get really big and bushy, real thick. And if you had a basil plant this high, this would probably sell for $15 to $20 at market. So, and it costs about, without any marketing or packaging, it costs around maybe 10 cents to grow. So that's a pretty good return on money there. So that's the basil. Let's see if we can maybe do a couple more here. Let's find some real big ones that are a pain. Oh, you know what? I've got some over in the vine section. I'll grab another one of those big tomato plants because, well, maybe I should leave them in there. I think we should get this cleaned out first. So we'll grab one of these smaller tomato plants. I guess I like to change my mind a lot. Now, this is an interesting one. Well, it's just a hoss. But let's see if we can get it out of here. Well, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get it out. Now this is a problem with the hydroponics. You see, I got the small tomato plant out, but I lost a lot of the roots because they're so tangled up in the system. So we're gonna hope that this takes in dirt, and if it doesn't, well, we learned. We have to get them out of the hydroponic system sooner. So with this guy, it's good size. I think I'll put this in a smaller pot here. So I have a little dirt in my my bucket, my pitcher here. So we're gonna get that kind of going, and then we'll get some more. And I haven't been watching the chat. Can you guys still hear me? I heard someone said that they can't hear me. So if you can hear me, give me a yes. Okay. All right, good. So that's working. All right. Sometimes it doesn't transfer back over when I go mobile like that. So we're gonna plop this guy in here. Some good dirt in there. All right. And we're making a good mess down here, but that's why they invented vacuums, right, guys? So, all right. So we got this guy potted. And once we add water, it's gonna strengthen him up, and his roots will start to branch out and give more stability. And so, all right. So that's how you go from hydroponics to potted plants. And you can also do the same thing. I mean, I would do it today, but the weather's so yucky out. It's pouring here. we would put them in outside. I don't think we're going to have another freeze, so we would probably be able to get these going outside. Now, if it gets colder at night, the growth will probably slow, but the plant will survive. And as it gets more into summer, they'll take off. Inside the greenhouse here, you can kind of see the temperature is averaging 68 degrees with almost 60% humidity, real good for plants. And we have a lot of light. We brought lights from the Florida Keys. Well, we went and picked them up for Christmas. And then I do have a couple of things from the STLP. I got the rails. Everything's still at school for that. Actually, they just told us we have to clean that out, and I don't know what to do with it. So I guess I'll let them deal with it. Let's see here. So that's what we're doing today is basically moving some plants over. Are there any questions, or would anyone be interested in getting a plant? A tomato or a basil, since I have so many. I literally have probably 60 basil and tomato plants. So if anyone does want a potted plant or wants to put it in their garden, let me know. Email, message, and Moodle, and I'd be happy to drop one off. Not a problem. So, all right. So, are there any questions other than that? Okay. Someone's typing a message. We'll wait and see what it says. Okay. All right. Nothing there. Okay. I have not heard if Mrs. Markham and the other teachers want to do a live session next week. I will keep you informed and let you know. Our schedule is going to kind of be influenced by the weather. So if the weather is really nice, we'll be able to do stuff outside. And if it's not, we can do stuff inside. Monday is, again, the Florida Keys, the Bay Honda Bridge history. And if you're curious, basically we're going to the beach on Monday. Well, I shouldn't say that. I think the park's closed, so Liddy won't be able to get into the beach area. But Bay Honda Beach, right next to the bridge there, is rated as one of the United States' most pristine beaches. It is just like you'd see on Travel Channel, and it looks like the Caribbean. It's really nice, and we'll be broadcasting. Liddy will be there live on Monday, and then I'll be here, and I'll talk about the history, and she'll actually be the camera person, and maybe talk a little bit too in the Florida Keys. So, and just so you know, it's quite a lot of work to set these live class sessions up. Just today alone, for just doing the potting, I have to set up the computer system downstairs with the wiring and the Wi-Fi and everything, then kind of get the plants figured out and tie everything into the main office upstairs so that it streams good. And so it's a lot of setup for these live sessions, but we're going to keep doing it and keep going with it. How many of you guys like these, the enrichment type classes? Tomorrow, for some of you guys joining late, tomorrow I am on a secret mission with Miss Markham, and I'll actually be with Mr. Cunningham. We are doing a secret project for students. So there's no live class session tomorrow. I have to be at the school at 11, and I probably won't get home until about 5 o'clock. So we're not going to have a live class session tomorrow. All I want you to do tomorrow is post and reply to other people's posts in the final Tangerine discussion board. Have a good discussion. You guys aren't in school and you don't get a chance to talk with one another or even have any interactions much. So this is your opportunity to do that. I've already been in there today, and I started putting the grades in, for participation, and everyone's doing good. So yeah, that's tomorrow's mission. And then Monday will be, unless the weather's really bad in Florida, which it looks like this time of year it's sunny and 80 every day. Actually, it's about sunny and 90 every day there. So The weather is really reliable there. Do we have to do it? Well, you don't have to do anything, but you know, those who put in the extra effort are going to reap the rewards of as high a grade as I can give them. But as far as having to do something, you don't have to do anything. In fact, all of your teacher's NTI work is pretty much discretionary, and it cannot hurt your grade. However, I want to stress, nor can it help your grade. You know, if you do all your NTI work, we can apply that as helping your grade. So if you had a C or a B, that NTI work can push you up to an A. So, yeah. Anyway, so let's see here. I think that's just about it. I have to get some water on these plants, and we can monitor them. If it wasn't pouring down rain, I could also show the porch, which I have a lot of plants out on the porch in pots that are starting to take root. And when we were doing the grafting, this plant is, you know, almost getting to be good enough size to graft to. So if I can identify some different species of tomato plants, we could try grafting a grape tomato, for instance, onto one of the beef hearts. And I think the big one back there is a beef heart tomato, and this one here is regular tomato. And I do think I've got a couple of grape tomatoes in there, so we might be able to do something like that. I'll be working on contacting other people around the area next week and finding some new enrichment live class sessions to do. I do want to make a note that for the NTI days that are here, we'll probably have some short stories, because I already put those in when they made us put them in way back. So we're ahead right now with the NTI work, if you're finished with the novel, because technically today was December 6th, and then we're finishing today. So we're about 2 days ahead. So I'll put the NTI work that was supposed to be there in next week. But it's just fun stories. Like I put some really good stuff in, and that meets the requirement that the district's requiring me to do for this. I have to do basically NTI days where it's 3 lessons in one for different students. Doesn't really concern you. We might have some short stories, but the live class sessions will continue to be enrichment or catch up, or just, you know, gossip hour. But I'll try to post what we're doing on that. So, all right. I guess we're to that point where, are there any questions? Any questions? I don't see anything. Okay, lots of no's. Well, all right then. I have my 2 o'clock coming up. I guess it's a big one today. And Monday will be the big day. So tell everybody that, hey, Mr. Parmentier is going to be broadcasting his daughter from the Florida Keys. So that'll be a real fun live class session to join in. Over the weekend, I'll get next week's NTI work up on Moodle and visible to you guys. Like I said, there's really not going to be a lot. It'll just be some fun short stories that I had previously put in. I can't even remember off the top of my head which ones they are. I think one of them might be 3 Skeleton Key. Another one might be a Telltale Heart, but I think I only put 1 in. So it's definitely not going to be much. And then I do have to turn in my 2 NTI lessons that they're requiring us to do for the end of the year by Wednesday. And I'll keep you guys posted on those review days and makeup days, what we're doing, that Miss Dr. Kirby put on the calendar. And I'll post the calendar in Moodle as well, so you guys, if you didn't see it on the website, you can get to it. So, all right, if you guys don't have any questions, I guess that will conclude today's live class session. All right, bye guys.